This histogram tracks the frequency of major cardiovascular events, like heart attacks and strokes, across a full day. While you might expect these to be distributed randomly, there is a consistent surge in activity within this window, beginning at 6 a.m. To find the cause of that spike, we have to look at the hours immediately preceding it, using the deep sleep of the early morning as a physiological baseline. During non-REM sleep, the body operates under parasympathetic dominance. This is a restorative state where the nervous system prioritizes internal maintenance over external movement. This state reduces the workload on the heart. Heart rate slows, the force of cardiac contractions decreases, and systemic blood pressure drops. Consequently, the heart muscle requires significantly less oxygen to function. While the body is at its most stable during the night, the transition to wakefulness introduces a series of rapid physiological changes. By sunrise, this low-stress environment begins to shift toward the period of highest statistical risk. The morning surge does not create heart disease in healthy tissue. Instead, it acts as a trigger for individuals who already harbor a specific underlying condition. This is the vulnerable atherosclerotic plaque. It is a pocket of disease within the artery wall, a lipid-rich necrotic core of fats and dead cells, separated from the bloodstream by a thin, fragile fibrous cap. During the low-pressure conditions of sleep, these plaques generally remain stable. However, the physical and chemical changes that accompany waking turn this dormant condition into a point of failure. Increasing energy. Waking begins with a sharp burst of neurological activity. The suprachiasmatic nucleus, the brain's master clock, activates pathways ending the restful state. This signals the start of the cortisol awakening response, the body's primary internal alarm system. Adrenaline and cortisol flood the circulation. These hormones are designed to prepare the body for the metabolic demands of the day. This chemical surge instantly overrides the protective parasympathetic state. Within minutes, the cardiovascular system is shifted into a state of high biological stress. As adrenaline levels rise, systolic blood pressure and heart rate increase sharply. The heart muscle must work harder and faster to meet these new demands, which causes its oxygen requirements to rise. This illustrates the mismatch. As the heart's oxygen demand climbs on the left, the hormone surge causes diseased coronary arteries to constrict, narrowing blood flow on the right. At this exact moment, oxygen demand exceeds the constricted artery's delivery capacity. The heart is forced to operate under intense mechanical pressure, while the supply of blood needed to sustain that effort is restricted. To understand how this leads to a heart attack, we have to look at the physical forces applied to the vulnerable plaque. The sudden morning blood pressure surge increases circumferential wall stress on the artery. Simultaneously, blood rushing through the vessel increases shear stress directly against the plaque, concentrated at the shoulders, the outer edges of the fibrous cap. The pressure exceeds the cap's structural integrity. The fibrous surface fractures, creating a fissure that exposes the interior of the plaque. The lipid-rich core, a highly reactive material, is now in direct contact with the blood flowing through the artery. This mechanical rupture is the moment a chronic, silent condition becomes an acute medical emergency. Whether that rupture becomes fatal depends on the state of the blood itself, which also undergoes a distinct shift during the morning hours. Platelet aggregability follows a circadian rhythm, reaching its peak activity shortly after waking. This makes blood cells more likely to stick together and form a clot. Simultaneously, the body's ability to dissolve those clots is at its lowest point. Levels of PAI1, a protein that inhibits clot breakdown, peak in the morning. As these three curves converge at 6 a.m., they create a window where the blood is primed to clot rapidly, while its natural dissolution mechanisms are suppressed. Because of this environment, the clot triggered by the plaque rupture propagates without resistance. It grows until it completely occludes the artery. The plaque rupture provided the site, but the morning's specific blood chemistry ensured that the site became a total blockage. With the artery blocked, oxygen delivery to the heart muscle stops. The affected cells quickly deplete their energy stores and begin to fail. This leads to ischemic myocyte necrosis, the death of heart muscle tissue. This is the clinical definition of a heart attack. These triggers, the hormone surges, blood pressure spikes, and platelet activation, are normal circadian rhythms. They are the same processes that allow a healthy body to move from rest to activity every day. A morning heart attack occurs when these standard waking processes act simultaneously upon a diseased substrate that cannot handle the stress. While cardiovascular disease takes decades to develop, the daily act of waking up serves as the ultimate stress test. It is the moment where normal biological transitions can exceed the structural limits of a compromised heart.